Hey everyone, I'm Coach Trevor, and in today's video, we'll be going over common causes and simple steps you can take to relieve the wrist pain commonly known as carpal tunnel syndrome. Carpal tunnel syndrome is a condition that affects the hand and arm. It occurs when the median nerve, which runs from the neck and into the palm of the hand, becomes compressed or squeezed. This compression can lead to symptoms such as numbness, tingling, or weakness in the wrist, fingers, and forearm of the affected arm. The condition can leave many feeling as if surgery was an inevitable and impending doom. However, today we'll be working through steps you can take before heading to that last resort. And to do so, we'll first start with addressing why the median nerve can become pinched in the first place. Let's start from the top down. As with almost all aches and pains, the wrist pain you feel from carpal tunnel syndrome does not always stem from the wrist, which leads us to pinch point number one, being the neck. The brachial plexus is a network of nerves around the spine and the neck, which provide sensory signals all the way down to the forearm, wrist, and fingers. As the same goes with a pinched and compressed median nerve, if the neck's brachial plexus sensory signals are being hindered due to a neck injury or lack of mobility, pain, irritation, and numbness can be felt in the fingers and wrist. Our second pinch point is going to be around the shoulder, and more specifically, compression at the pec minor. Like mentioned previously, the median nerve travels from the neck down to the fingers, and the nerve travels by the pec minor, which in some cases can become shortened and inflamed, causing fatigue to that median nerve. One way to test if the pec muscle has become shortened is to simply raise your hands completely overhead without leaning the body. If this is a challenging task to do or causes pain to the shoulder, chances are the pec minor is involved. More on this a bit later. Our last pinch point, working our way down from the neck, is at the wrist itself. And the most commonly talked about reason behind carpal tunnel syndrome is the median nerve being pinched by the carpal tunnel itself, which is the canal in the wrist that allow the nerves and tendons to pass. But now that we've reviewed 3 spots your pain can be originating from, let's correlate that to a lifestyle behavior that may be causing the pain and see how we can address it. Starting off with compression or inflammation at the neck or brachial plexus. If you're used to squinting forward at the office desk, walking with a tilt down of the chin, or keeping your head twisted in an unnatural position for long periods of time, chances are you're straining your neck. And in doing so, the scalene muscles located in the neck can pinch the median nerve or brachial plexus, causing both numbness sensations and muscle weakness, often associated with carpal tunnel syndrome. By being aware of our neck alignment and adjusting environments to allow for a more neutral neck position, you can alleviate unnecessary strain being placed on the neck. Now, our next area to address is the pec minor. And similar to our neck adjustments, if you're noticing that your natural gait includes a slight fold or hunch forward, or while you're seated, your shoulders are being pulled forward, well, this may not seem like a big deal from a day-to-day basis. Over time, these postural imbalances can cause different shifts throughout the body. But besides the postural imbalances and adjustments we can make, here are 3 movements you can practice to build your shoulder and scapular strength and reduce tension on that pec minor. starting off with the PT band scapular pullbacks. Now, for this exercise, wrap a physical therapy band around a stable position to allow for safe performance of the exercise. Step back while holding the back straight until the band is taut and your arms are straight. While keeping a straight posture, pull the elbows back past the body and hold the position for 3 to 5 seconds while aiming to engage the scapulas back. Think like you're pinching your shoulder blades together. Our second move is called the wall angels. For this exercise, find a clear wall that allows you to extend your arms to the sides and overhead. Keep your body straight with a slight lean back, resting your body on the wall. The goal with this movement is to keep your elbows and wrists in contact with the wall, while slowly lifting and dropping your arms. Now, for some of you, contact with the wall throughout the movement may not be possible, and this is okay. Continue the range of motion that your body allows. Now, our last movement is called the median nerve glide. And for this exercise, begin by placing your hand on a wall, fingers down, aiming to get your palm in contact with the wall. Now, this position alone may cause some tension in the same place you're feeling the carpal tunnel syndrome. If this is the case, remain at this step until you can comfortably progress further. Now, from here, you can lean the head to the opposite side of your hand and hold that position for 20 to 30 seconds, and then relax before repeating. Now, finally, carpal tunnel can be made worse with prolonged flexion or extension of the wrist. We often think of carpal tunnel being caused mainly from office work, which can be the case, but let's not forget about the other jobs that cause similar wrist tension, like hairdressing, plumbing, dental hygienist work, and the list can go on. With all these occupations, one factor remains true, and that is that the wrist is out of natural alignment while holding or placing force. Take a listen to what hairstylist Abigail Scher from L Design had to say about her experience with carpal tunnel syndrome.
Wrist pain is definitely a very common thing in the hairdressing industry, especially when our weeks are full of hair cutting. That can cause our wrist pain to flare up. A new tool that I've recently introduced to my toolkit is swivel shears that help reduce the strain of your wrist and your thumb. When you're doing hair cutting, it allows for better mobility that is supposed to be more ergonomically friendly for your wrist.
Now, 2 things right off the bat we can do to alleviate pain you are feeling is taking time off of that pressure-inducing activity or bracing the wrist to keep the alignment straight during those activities. But let's say these 2 options aren't ideal for your scenario. Let's look at how small shifts in an office setup, for example, can make big changes to our wrist pain. To start off, let's take a look at vertical mouse options. Now, a vertical mouse is designed ergonomically, allowing the user to hold their hand in a more neutral position. Think like a handshake. This is opposed to the flexed position required by traditional mice. Now, this simple posture change can reduce the strain on the wrist tendons and aid to decrease carpal tunnel syndrome pain. Now, our second option is a keyboard wrist rest. Now, similar to that of a vertical mouse, the keyboard wrist rest will provide wrist support. This is done by elevating the hand position in order to keep the wrist aligned with the position of the keyboard. The angle your palm is in comparison to the keys is then reduced, allowing the wrist to remain neutral. After reviewing the many causes that contribute to carpal tunnel syndrome, I hope you've had a renewed sense of importance in preventative measures and ergonomic practices in maintaining optimal hand and wrist health. By adopting simple yet effective strategies such as using ergonomic tools like vertical mice, practicing proper posture, taking regular breaks, and performing hand exercises, we can significantly reduce the risk of developing or exacerbating carpal tunnel syndrome. Remember, proactive care is key in well-being and our hand and wrist care, allowing us to engage in our daily activities with comfort and confidence. I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll talk to you next time.